My name is Matthew, and I am the R&D Director for Ocean Genesis Limited. And first and foremost, I'd just like to say what an honour it is to be in front of you here today at AQUAH 2025, to be healthily competing with all of the big boys here. Move on now to our mission. So the mission is simple. We want to reduce coral mortalities. Now, I've been doing the hobby for a while now, and it's fair to say I've made my fair share of mistakes and caused a few different coral mortalities in the past. And that's what we want to do, and it's always been to do with light, temperature, or water chemistry. And we're here to try and solve that water chemistry by creating that automatic software that calculates it for you, that follows these coral growth models that I've spent so much time developing. And another thing we really want to do is we want to reduce plastic waste as time goes on, and we want to create a community that actually has some visualization graphics as well. So the next sort of section is we got a actual unit down in Weymouth now. It was about 18 months ago that we got this unit, and the unit is about 500 square meters. This is one of the tanks here in the middle, and there's 5 others in there as well. And there's 4 people in the team now as well, so we've actually grown. So it's not just me and Liam. We've also got another chap known as Brad, and he's our second software developer, and he's a web developer as well. And then we've also got a chap called Nat, who does all of the videos and animations as well. And just so that we get to the nitty-gritty of the dosing, so this is a 3-part dosing solution, which is our preferred method, and is a very preferred method, in my opinion, across the hobby. And that's simply because you want to get that pinpoint accuracy in there with it. Because if you put everything in the same bottle, it will lose its quality over time and it will precipitate. So we want to keep it separate so that we can ensure that our software works, because if the solution doesn't work, then what's the point of the maths? So what I usually ask myself is, why do I care about this product? Why does it matter? What is going to make it so much easier for me? And so I've just sort of bullet pointed the questions that I really want you to think about. So the first one is, do I have a marine aquarium? Do I have fish tanks? And so that is one of the big ones. And then the next one is, are you testing? Am I testing pH? Am I testing calcium? Am I testing magnesium? And then, do you actually understand the water chemistry? These are all of the very simple questions that you need to be asking yourself, because we want to help you with that water chemistry. We want to help you understand. We want you to join this mission with us so that we can understand corals to a whole new level. Because the more and more people get involved with this, the more we can start understanding the effects of potentially temperature on like the consumption of the calcium and the carbonates. So we can really start drawing some very unique insights into how your aquariums are doing. So what are our unique selling points? So the first selling point is they're quite strong solutions. I've got to be honest with you, they're not bad. And they are actually enhanced with potassium as well, to give you that trace element that gives the pink colour in aquatic specifically. It's quite annoying to keep doing this. And then it's also got the tailored parameters in there for you as well. So you can set your tank to mixed reef, SPS dominant, or softies as well, and then that will give you different parameters, and I'll go into a little bit more detail a little bit later on in the talk about that. And you can also customize it if you disagree with our settings as well, because we all like to have our own input as well. It's also got that data storage aspect. So I started the hobby effectively writing it in a book. I do my weekly tests and I'd write it in a book. And it's great, and I still like to have a diary for my tank. I'm a bit of a nerd, I'm sorry. But if I put it into the web app, then it creates that data storage for you. You do not lose that data. That data is yours to keep. and it will even plot it on a graph for you over the last 12 weeks, so you can start understanding how your tank is fluctuating over time. So that's quite a neat thing. And then the other thing as well, which I've kind of just explained hand in hand there, which is the coral consumption, so you can actually understand that your coral's consuming. Oh no, we've just had a heat wave. Oh, the corals are bleaching. What's going to happen, you think? The consumption is going to drop significantly. And yeah, you might see the bleaching, but it's quite nice to understand from a graphical point of view, how bad was it really? And so that gives you that unique insights like no other brand is doing at the moment. So how do the buffers and the Smart Doser 103 really work? So the next thing I can show you is a 10-minute video, which is really quite nice for me because it means I will get to have some water. So I've got a bit of a dry mouth from talking and the nurse, and then I can show you this, and hopefully you can understand from a testing point of view. We have developed our brand new, revolutionary Ocean Genesis Smart Doser 103 that has embedded app-controllable automatic software that programs your highly accurate pump for you.
Hi, I'm Matthew and I'm here at the Ocean Genesis Research Facility releasing our very own Smart Dosing Pump demonstration video. This dosing pump is like nothing else on the market, so you can simply keep an aquarium as nice as this in 3 simple steps.
All you need to do is download the Ocean Genesis app, enter your test results in, and then the Ocean Genesis Smart Doser 103 takes over and does the rest.
So we have 3 different dosing solutions available here. We have our KH solution, which is the carbonate hardness. We've got a calcium solution, which is the second part, which forms the coral skeleton. And then we've got the third part, which is the magnesium solution, which provides the elasticity of the corals, which allows them to expand and retract and filter feed. Which brings me on to my fourth part, which is our phytoplankton mix, which will also be released at AQUAH 2025.
So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to do the testing. So I'm going to go ahead and test for the first thing, which is the KH. Now in the KH kit, you've got your user manual, you've got your actual titration solution, and then you've got your initial solution, which is your part 1, alongside a 1 ml syringe and a 5 ml syringe. And the next thing you need to do is you need to get some water from your tank. But the most important thing is health and safety. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some PPE on in the form of some polyurethane gloves. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually collect some water from the tank. Right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to get 4 ml of water from the tank water there. We're going to add that to our universal. Next, we're going to put the KH indicator in, 4 drops. Give it a little swish. And then finally, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our KH titration solution in, and we're just going to get it up to 1 ml. But always ensure that you always give it a good flush through first, because you don't want any bubbles in here, because this is what you're basing your whole KH reading off of. And simply go ahead, like so. You want to make sure that it turns red, stays red. Right, so now that I have completed the KH test result, all I need to do is with the actual titration syringe is I need to see where the black meets the mark, and you can just see that that is 0.42 and 0.42 corresponds to 8.9. So my aquarium's DKH is 8.9, which is pretty good because my desired is 9. Right, so now magnesium, so all you want to do is take 2 ml out, sure there's no bubbles in there. Transfer that over to your universal. And next you want to use the magnesium indicator by adding 5 drops to it. Give that a little swish. And then you want to do your magnesium part 2, the titration fluid. And we're just going to get it up to 1 ml. And ensure that the black stopper's up to the top. And I'm going to do my titration. So we're wanting a blue colour again, so red to blue, same as the KH. You can see it's constant blue colour. So now that I have completed the magnesium test, all I need to do is with this syringe here, is see where the black meets the actual mark on the end here. So I've actually got 0.18, and 0.18 corresponds to 1230, so that is 1,230 parts per million. Right, and so for my final test, I'm going to go ahead and use my Hanna checker. This is a calcium Hanna checker, and we're going to test the calcium. So first and foremost, for this particular test, and I do this quite frequently, so I do know it more or less off by heart, is I've got to go ahead and I've got to take 1 ml using this syringe. Usually takes it up perfectly into that like so, and I've just got to go ahead and add it in. Nextly, you want to use some RO water, and I've got some RO water right here to hand. So this RO water, you've just got to fill it up to the white line like so. And simply you've got to put the Hanna checker in, make sure it's stable and on the ground, as this is a colorimeter. So it is the initial step, which is the calibration step. And you just got to wait until it flashes onto C2. Lovely. Right, and so then I take this out and I add 0.1 millilitres from the salt water which I collected earlier. And finally, just want to get out one of my little packets here which contain all of the calcium crystals, which actually gives me the colour in which the colorimeter uses to measure the parts per million of calcium within the water. As you can see, these do look rather nasty, these crystals, which is why it is crucial that PP air is warm at all time. I'm just going to put that in, ensuring to get as much in as possible. Nextly, you've got to put your lid on, give it a good mix. So, make sure there's no water droplets, put it back into the device, click a button. And that should tell me my parts per million of the calcium, which stands at 419 ppm. Right, so one thing you're going to be asking yourself is, how does this work? So I've entered in my KH, my calcium, and my magnesium into the app. And that's it. That's literally it. That's all you need to do. And that is our biggest unique selling point. We've got you covered, all of the calculations, all of the maths, years of research, it's all in this box right here. Now, how it actually works, I'm going to explain this to you very quickly. So let's take our calcium value, which was 419. So this is a 500 litre tank, and I want a desired of 470. So the first part of it is it's going to make an auto adjustment over the next 24 hours in 3 dosages between midnight and 6 AM, because coral skeletal development is found to actually develop a lot more during the night whilst they obtain their energy during the day from photosynthesis. So what it'll do is it will add, let's say it's 50 millilitres, and it will split that into 3 and add it automatically over the next night to bring your calcium gradually up from that 419 up to your 470. Now, the next part of it is the daily dosage. Now, the daily dosage is the amount of millilitres of that calcium, which is the difference from your test result that you put in last week to your test result this week. So let's say the previous week it was 500, and this week it's 419. So we know that there's an 81 parts per million difference in the last 7 days, or however many days you do your test for, but let's say 7. So then that is then divided by 7, and then that then corresponds to the amount of millilitres
based on our calculations, and that will dose it to you in 3 separate segments, also from midnight through to 6 AM. So it does everything that you need to do to keep the tank looking healthy, happy, vibrant, and most importantly, colourful.
And I'm not sure if you noticed, but that video that I just did was 10 minutes. So I can do all of my water chemistry in 10 minutes, whereas in the past it used to take me half an hour. So it's a real time-saving tool, an alternative to making your life a lot easier. And so it's $7.99 there on after, and that includes the postage as well, which costs us about £4. So it's pretty reasonable. And this is some Nanachloropsis octacula, which is the species that we're cultivating in the unit down in Weymouth, and you can just sort of see these tiny little unicellular organisms there. So let's go into the buffer solutions in a little bit of detail. So first and foremost, we'll go into the KH. So the KH, as I've discussed previously, and so I'll not go into loads of detail on this one, is the CO3, the carbonate hardness. And the measure for KH on the Ocean Genesis calculator is DKH as well. And it helps maintain that pH. So I've spoken to a few people today that aren't too chuffed with their pH at the moment. It's around about 8. But if you keep the mixed reef, which our setting is 9 for the mixed reef, and that's what that tank was that you've seen on the screen already, then my pH is always at a stable 8.3, which is really quite nice. So the next one is the magnesium. Now, magnesium is the one that I struggle with the most because I've got loads of LPS corals, loads of soft corals. So my consumption for magnesium is through the roof. One week I'll get it back up to 1350. The next week, like you saw on the screen, it'll drop back down to like 1250. And it's there on after that. I'm always chasing the magnesium, but that's what you want. You want the corals to be chasing the magnesium, because that means they're growing and they're healthy and they're happy and they're opening and they're retracting, which is really quite a positive thing. And just like for the calcium as well, it is ppm parts per million. That is what is measured for it. Now I'm pretty sure that it skipped past the calcium for me, so I'm going back for the calcium. So calcium is also measured as ppm as well, and the calcium is the core element. So calcium is always the third to click. So calcium for your stony corals like your LPS and your SPS corals, it forms the limestone skeleton of that coral. So it's really the one that I pay the most attention to, because if you've got a high calcium consumption one week, it means your corals are pretty happy. They're growing, they're repairing, and they're doing really well. If the calcium consumption drops, then they're not growing, they're not repairing, and they're not doing really well. So I really quite enjoy paying a bit of attention into the calcium. But usually when you start dosing, it does take about 6 weeks to really start clicking, and usually it's magnesium, and then it's KH, and then it's calcium. So there's 3 simple steps to signing up to the web portal. So first and foremost, you have to Google Ocean Genesis, and you have to sign up and create an account. The next one is you test your aquarium and you conduct a weekly or bi-weekly test. And finally, you enter your test results in ppm or DKH if it's a KH onto your account. And so this is a little bit what the web portal looks like. So all you have to do is you have to go in here, you have to select the date, and you just select the date that it's currently on, and then you click submit, and then it will automatically update this green box here, which will tell you how much to add for your daily dose, and then it will also tell you your manual adjustment as well, which is what you need to do to get it from X up to Y. And this is what I was talking about, the diagnostics via visualization. So if we look at this here, so this was last year, right? And so last year was kind of a little bit warm, and in July we had a little bit of a warm period, right? So this graph here on the bottom is my KH, and that's just my current level. So my desired is 9, which is set on my red line. And this is all on the portal as well. And my actual level is this green line here. So you can see it was bobbing around, doing really nice, between 8 and 9. Chuffed with that, really good. Oh no, something happened. What happened? Well, I'll tell you what happened. It got too warm. The tank got up to 30 degrees in this week here. And what caused that result? So you can see through this period, they're bobbing along, doing really well, consumption's going up, they're growing, they're growing, they're growing, they're growing. 30 degrees, too hot, I'm gonna bleach. And then bang, and it dropped. And then the actual level of the KH went significantly up. And then the actual consumption dropped significantly. But the good thing about our solutions and the smart portal and everything is when the KH goes above the desired, then what it will do is it will advise daily dose significantly less and don't add any more in manually or do an auto adjustment because your KH is too high for your current desired. So that's really quite important. And as you previously see, so these are the 2 arrows that I was talking to you here about that, like so. So that is more or less the end of my talk here today. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do a little bit of a quiz now, and there's going to be prizes to be won. So first and foremost, I've talked a lot about the water chemistry, and so for this here, and you can come over to the stand a little bit later on, we'll give you 3 bottles of buffers and a t-shirt. So I need somebody to be really brave. And last year I did 2 presentations. On the Saturday nobody spoke to me and on the Sunday I got some answers. So I'm really hoping that I can get the answers. So what are the 3 types of water chemistry tests that I did in the video there that you need to program your smart doser with? So have I got any hands? Who wants a free t-shirt and 3 watts of buffer? Does anyone know what are the 3 tests? Go on, anyone know? Go on, there you are, sir. Oh, have you got a microphone? Nice one. Go on then, please go ahead. What are they?
Calcium, magnesium, and KH.
Legendary, nice one. I'll see you later. Just come over to stand A4 and we'll sort you out with a t-shirt and some free buffers. Thank you. Right, same again. 3 lots of buffers and the t-shirt. This is a bit of a harsh one, I'll be honest with you. But does anyone give me a really good idea of like coral chemistry and the idea behind the buffers? Can you explain that coral chemistry for me? Does anyone know? This is the one question that nobody wanted to answer before. So can anybody give me their best shot at explaining to me the coral chemistry behind the buffers? Any hands? Oh, there's movements, there's movements. Oh, nice. He's coming from behind.
Hi. The buffers are to replace what the corals are taking out the water.
Yes, that's correct. Perfect.
Winner.
Thank you very much. Please come over to stand A4 in a little while. Right, so this one is also, this is for a bottle of phytoplankton, this one. So, what are the 3 simple steps to signing up to Ocean Genesis? Does anybody know? 3 simple steps. I tactically put it towards the end of my presentation in the hope that you would remember. Any show of hands? Oh, he really wants the phytoplanktonist. Good. There you are, sir.
I believe it's water test, count, create an account, and
yeah, there we go, that's the first one. And then water test.
Water test.
Yeah.
And then it would be.
So you've created an account on the website, you've done your weekly tests. So what would you do after you've done your weekly test?
And send those off.
The answer is you enter your test results in there. So, oh, is that what you said? Sorry.
Yes, the test results.
Oh, perfect. Nice one. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. Right, awesome. Thank you very much for that, sir. Well done. Please, you get a bottle of Phyto with your buffers as well, so you smashed it. Right, so this is the big one that a lot of people have been waiting for. So we've had over 60 responses now, and over in our stand we've got a nice drop-off show tank, and the question was, how many different types of zoas were in the aquarium? Not individual ones, different species. Now I can disclose to you right now that palithoas were not counted. So therefore a few people guessed significantly higher, but there was a few pallies in there to kind of, you know, create a little bit of an interesting factor. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of a video now here. So first and foremost, you can see down here you've got your orange oxides, and then you've also got your fire and ice zoas as well. And then moving on, you've got your reverse space monsters, and you've got your more orange oxides too. And in the back of the orange oxides, in this little region here, there's some clementine zoas. There's also some purple bee zoas, purple monster zoas. These are red ring zoas. These are Krakatoa zoas. These are AIO zoas. And these zoas here, I cannot remember the name of them. I thought they were King Midas originally. Oh, they're blueberry pie zoas. There we go. Right, so the answer was 12. So there was 12 different types of zoas. So out of the 60 people that entered the our little guessing game, there was only 5 people that got it correct. Now I have put those 5 names on the wheel, and we are going to spin the wheel. So the first spin is for a choice of either a Jack-o'-lanterns Leptocerys or a golden-eyed chalice. So big congratulations and a round of applause to Ray, Ali, Ryan P, Sean and Ashley. Well done you lot, good job, nice one. And so we're going to go ahead and we are going to go and spin the wheel. So here we go. Who is going to get the coral? And you're welcome to come over to the stand later. So the first person that has won the coral from our nice show tank is Ashley. Well done, Ashley. Hey! All right, and we're going to spin the wheel again. And here we go. So this is for the other coral. So Ashley will get the choice between the two and the other chap, which is, oh, it's Ali. Well done, Ali. Hey! So please, if you are here and you're present, come over to our stand later. And we'll try and serve you with a coral for the end of the day. And not only that, but if you're not here today, there'll be a recording that goes out on YouTube, so you will be able to see me right here, right now, and experience the excitement online. But moreover, we will send you an email and let you know that you have got that coral. Get in there. Right, and so finally, I'm just going to have to say one last thing, which is, thank you very much for watching me here today, and we've been talking a lot about our coral parameter management and our software solutions. Thank you so much for engaging with us, coming to our stand and speaking with us here today. And most importantly, keep on reefing, everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you.